Hare Krishna, Namaste. Welcome to our live stream on Festival of Bharat. Thank you for joining us, and we welcome you to like and subscribe to the channel and share all the wonderful katha that goes on the channel. My name is Savyasaci, also known as Savya the Monk, joining you from Johannesburg, South Africa. Today we're dealing with a very interesting topic, why the world is looking to India and Dharma. It is a time which is very interesting in many ways that we're living in. Now the whole world is focused on this big conflict between Russia and Ukraine. It's a modern day war. Who would have thought? In the 21st century, amongst so-called civilized nations, first world nations, there is a war. What is interesting about that is that India, the land of Dharma, is somewhat involved with what is going on. How is India involved, and how can India become a beacon of hope and light? India is part of the BRICS nations. Those who follow geopolitical issues will understand. There's Brazil, there's Russia, there's India, China, and South Africa. I am currently in South Africa, from South Africa. And so this multilateral relationship exists between these countries. It was formed to create better facilities for the people of those nations. Alliances are always a plus in this world. No man is an island. Also, no nation is an island, although some nations are an island physically, like Australia is an island. So what is happening is very interesting and intricate, that while India is in the BRICS nations, within those there is Russia. India is also part of the G7 countries, which are the Western civilizations, the powerhouses. And so the Western powerhouses are looking to India to condemn Russia and cut its relations with Russia or sanction them in so many ways. But a beautiful dance has to be performed by the leadership, in that pacify your Western allies, don't upset the relationship with powerhouses like America, because India has to protect her citizens also. And one form of protection is the economics. We hear from the Shastras, the scriptures, that the Kshatriyas, they are the administrators or the government. They are like the arms of the social body. They are meant to protect the citizens. And one way of protecting the citizens is to make sure that the economic wheels are turning. And so to not upset these powers, and at the same time not upset an ally within the BRICS community of countries. You can appreciate how delicate that situation is. And then also within the BRICS countries is China. China is a big powerhouse in the global economic game. And they are also not in the best of relationships with some of the G7 countries where India is participating. And this dance has to go on. We look at the relationship of China and India. There are some sensitivities around East Ladakh, the borders conflicts. It is difficult to then discuss and plan out how to counter terrorism, security concerns, because these two nations aren't agreeing with that situation. In the middle of that, we want to remember that India has a great, great export, which it has to offer to the world. And that is the export of the ancient wisdom of the Vedic canon, where other nations are only catching up. India had already for millennia had professors, whether it was mathematics, whether it's in architecture. You have your Shilpa Shastra, where the Chinese later on, from Vastu came Feng Shui. There's the Ayurveda, where the medicine and the health had long time ago been understood and perfected into a science. These days, I just came now from an outreach program at the university. There we have young Africans who are studying, and part of the mechanisms they need and take shelter of to stay focused and healthy are yoga and meditation. We are offering their Bhakti Yoga Society. So the students come and do Astanga Yoga, they do pranayam, and they do mantra yoga, where they are learning to chant the Hare Krishna mantra. We were singing today and everyone was expressing how this mantra helps the mind to rise above all the difficulties of being a student. So this is a technology that is being provided by the Vedic literature, the scriptures that are coming out of India. And these technologies are very crucial for the wellness of the world. We are not this body, we are not this mind or intellect, but we're actually the soul. Jivera Sarupa Hoy Krishnara Nityadas. In fact, each soul is an intimate servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This knowledge is unknown in the West, not very much available. Yoga has come, but also yoga is only ending at the asanas. A lot of the yoga societies has been taken over and just become business. And the yoga, which Krishna talks about in Bhagavad Gita, where he says, Madgatenanta Atmana Shadavan Bhajate Yomam, that one who's always thinking of me, he's intimately united with me in yoga. The highest platform of it is a loving relationship with Krishna. That is an export coming out of India. Just to look at the world also and the contribution of India, I had read that in Seattle, the home of Boeing and Microsoft and Amazon, about 40% of those people in that tech industry are from India. So India is exporting IT people, is exporting engineers into the world. Even in Silicon Valley, it is mentioned about 20% of those companies that succeed had people who were part of the founding fathers from India. I was in Malawi, I was in Zambia, this in the last month. There also you find communities of persons out of India. We find people following Sanatan Dharma. We have Hindu temples. Even in war-torn Democratic Republic of Congo, can you believe? There was just now Rath Yatra, the festival of chariots, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra being drawn on the streets, and a whole community is there in Kinshasa. So by the design of the Supreme Lord, Shri Krishna, the people of India have been endowed with very good intelligence in business, in IT, in engineering, and especially the call has been made for them to apply this intelligence into the traditional ancient spiritual culture, and that they should distribute. In America, a lot of the big companies when they are hiring, not just in America, in Europe, in New Zealand, it is said that those who hire, they prefer to hire people from the countries of Asia, India being number one. And when asked, why do they prefer hiring people from India? They were mentioning that because of their cultural background, their deep religious convictions, they are very reliable in that from those families, from those individuals, you will not have to deal with Monday mornings of drunkenness, people still trying to recover from a heavy weekend of alcohol. You don't have to deal with workers who are dealing with custody cases, because in the West, there's a lot of divorce. And therefore, the children this weekend, they're with this parent, the next, they're with the other. And it puts a strain on that individual, and they bring that to the workplace. So there's stable family life, there is sobriety. You don't find the prevalence of alcohol use, drug use. And because they understand the law of action and reaction, they tend to be very ethical. They don't steal so much. Not that there's no stealing, that can be there, but these persons who are hiring in these big companies have found that out. And what is the reason? This is because India is the land of Dharma. Dharma is the law of God. It is said, Dharman stu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. That the laws and the codes of religion, of what a human being should be, how he should live, what he should know, are laid down by Bhagavan. Only he can give that. And that land which lives by the laws of Dharma produces a higher quality human being. While we are still speaking the glories of India, we must note that there are also errant ways coming out of the land of Dharma. I was surprised, you may be surprised, you may know, that India is in the top 5 of beef exporters in the world. So the world is looking towards India for many things, And those who are looking may also see some contradictions here and there. They are looking to India for Dharma in the form of the yogic culture, the Gyan culture, the meditation culture, the medicine, the architecture, the design. They are looking to India for the best minds, for the sober people who are balanced. And also they may see the contradiction. The world now has embraced a lot of vegetarianism. In my travels, only in India did I find products and shops talking about non-veg. Of course, we can note this terminology, non-veg, comes from the understanding that to eat the flesh of animals, mangsa, is to invite that violence to come back to you. And so it's not even mentioned that we eat meat. Instead, it said non-veg, pronouncing veg because that is sattvic, not even pronouncing the meat eating. I found that very interesting. One man on a flight, he was asking me, oh, so you are Hare Krishna movement? I said, yes. He said, I know Swami Prabhupada, I know ISKCON. And he said, this is wonderful to see you from Africa involved with Dharma. It inspires me. And I said, actually, this knowledge, any person from any background in the world, when they receive it, the process is Shravanam, by hearing from someone who is also practicing, then one easily can take it. Anyone can take it. It's not particularly special that I was taking it. But then he asked me a question. He said, oh, I see that you are vegetarian. I said, yes. He said, how long have you been a vegetarian? I said, 20 years now. Oh, he said, I am also vegetarian. I said, oh, very nice. And then he said, but sometimes I eat non-veg. So I thought that was interesting. Yes, I'm vegetarian and also non-veg. So that is when Kali takes us over. Kali means quarrel and hypocrisy. So in this one area, that in the land of Dharma, where we know Krishi Go Raksha, it is said that the Vaishyas are meant to protect the cows, Gomata, because Mother Cow is the abode of all the Devatas. She is one of the 7 mothers. She is to be protected. But in the land of Dharma, how are we top 5 in beef exports? So that doesn't go well with the underlying culture. Lord Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that whatever actions a great man performs, the common men follow. And whatever act he sets by his exemplary activities, all the world pursues. Tat tat evataro jana sayat pramanam kurute lokas tat anuvartate. Yajada charity shreshtas, that is said. So the world is looking to India for all these aspects. And India has the opportunity to shine by demonstrating a politics which is informed by the great Raja Rishis, the great politicians of yore. Chanakya Pandit, great logician, great politician. We have Shastras that are discussing how to have proper politics. And I want to applaud Prime Minister Modi for being able to manage this delicate situation with China. And in the BRICS, they want to include new members. There was Iran, there was Pakistan that was being touted to join that coalition. But we know the relationship is not also so sweet between India and Pakistan, because there's a lot of this extremist Islamic mood that sometimes crops out of Pakistan. And so they want the coalition to grow so that the economic strength grows. But now, how do you deal with such members? And then also the Western powers, they want India to take a stand against Russia, who is somehow allied also with India. So these are not easy times. The geopolitical situation is quite tense. And the leaders, they require the support of the citizens, especially through prayer. Someone may say, what does prayer do? Well, prayer is sound vibration that is of a higher quality. It affects the ether. It changes the karmic climate of the world. It invokes auspiciousness. Therefore, we hear in the ashrams and the temples, we hear throughout the scriptures, a lot of chanting of Vedic mantra. This Vedic mantra is called Tejas, Shakti. It can influence the direction of the world. And so in the home of Dharma, where it is understood that to chant Vedic Shastra is auspicious, let more people take to this chanting. I'm in Johannesburg, and we are seeing, wherever we go, we'll be going out after this live stream for Naga Sankirtan, chanting in the streets. We'll be singing the Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The people don't know this language. Sometimes they stop and stare and wonder, what are they saying? But when they listen, then the sound vibration, because it is transcendental, It is spiritual. It penetrates the layer of ignorance, not knowing what it is, and it hits the soul. And the soul can understand that which is spiritual because we are spiritual ourselves. So this is known in India. Transmigration of the soul, reincarnation. It is not a mystery. People understand that the soul doesn't take birth and does not die. Birth is for the body and death is for the body. The soul is Nitya Shashwata. It is eternal. So this ethos has to be part of what India radiates into the world. That those who protect Dharma are protected by that Dharma. And if we draw the attention of the world to Dharma, and we show why the people of India are exhibiting this excellence in behavior, in an educational drive, and in them being moral and upright, to show what is the background of that, then we are letting the world in on something higher. Of course, in India, we could say it's practically one culture in that how people deal, they understand the higher universal authorities, and they respect the guest, they worship the teacher, the guru. There are many, many philosophies, so many schools of philosophy. And the Western mind is tired of just belief. They want something which is intelligent, some understanding that will answer questions that traditions of the Abrahamic school have not been able to tackle. And that is available in India. And so let us make this knowledge of the civilization of India, the civilization of Ram. People still want Ram Raja even now, where you can have a king who is so spiritually connected and so materially detached that he doesn't want to steal from the citizens. He considers himself the servant of the citizens. And this is vividly demonstrated throughout Mahabharata. We find characters like Yudhishthira, the son of Dharmaraj himself. That Yudhishthira is pained. Why this war of Mahabharata has been fought, he blames himself. This was just because I was greedy for power, for me to become king. He's being consoled by Krishna himself. No. Not because of your own desire. It is my desire to enthrone you because you are a bhakta. So I am encouraged by the fact that the world is looking to India for many things. But I'm also feeling a little touched that if we don't highlight the best that India has, then all that happens is just an export of the best minds who are going to just help the materialistic machine roll on by. And as it rolls by, it crushes a lot of people. Just interesting to note that very big companies are being run by persons coming out of India. I actually looked that up. I know the famous one is running Google and Alphabet. Some of you at home already have mentioned his name, Sundar Pichai. Then there's Satya Nadella at Microsoft. There's Parag Agrawal at Twitter. There's Liana Nai at Chanel. Shantanu Narayan at Adobe. Arvind Krishna at IBM. Sanjay Mehrotra at Micron Technology. Nikesh Arora, Palo Alto Networks. So this may arouse a sense of pride and feeling that we are achieving. But whatever is achieved on the material platform is very temporary, has a beginning and an end. Adyanta Vanta, Konteya Krishna tells Arjuna that those who are wise, they don't invest in the temporary only. They understand to use the temporary for the sake of the eternal. So our message and spending time today is just to encourage India to see how its glory is based on the civilization of Dharma, the civilization of Mahabharata, Ramayana, the civilization of Bhagavad Gita. What a gem, Bhagavad Gita. Let us promote Bhagavad Gita to the world, and let us help the world benefit from the culture of Dharma. And let us help our leaders by praying for them and by giving them the understanding of becoming servant leaders like the leaders of old. And in this way, the world will benefit. We hope that BRICS somehow thrives and helps the people of these nations. We hope the G7 relationships are kept intact so that the people get the benefit of those economic alliances. But more deeply, we wish that the people of India, they capture the spirit of their Veda and they become bold to share that in a compassionate way with the world. Let the world in for them to explore and benefit from Dharma. And in that way, it will be marked in history how when the world was going into a dark place, that the light coming out of the culture of Sanatan Dharma has helped. And in this light, in my own personal life, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, showed what a son of the Indian soul can do, that in his ripe old age, he got on a steamship and crossed the ocean. Sannyasis were not supposed to do that. He did that. He went to America and New York. He lived with what can be called the Yavanas and the Mlechas, the low-class people who were drug addicted, hippies. But he went there not to become like them, but he came to give. When he had come to London, the interviewer said, "So Swamiji, what have you come to beg in England?" He said, "No, I have brought what you forgot to take from India. You stole so much, but you forgot to take the best of India. And I've come to give you that for free." And what was that? It was Savai Pung Sang Paro Damo Yato Bhakti Adokshache. Ahaitukia Pratyata Yayatma Suprasidati. He came to give them Param Dharma, that knowledge of the relationship of the soul and the Supreme Person. So, thank you for spending time. Make sure that you follow this beautiful platform, Bharat, Festival of Bharat, and you share these live streams and you become the change that you want to see in the world. I will see you in our next live stream next week, Friday. Take care of yourself. Hare Krishna. Namaste.